So if the classic sound didn't give it away, today I'll be doing a quick gameplay overview for Pac-Man and the Ghostly Adventures 2 for the PlayStation 3, which is now available in Europe. So to start off with, Pac-Man and the Ghostly Adventures 2 is a 3D platforming game, similar style to that of Super Mario 3D Land or Sonic Lost World, whereby players take control of Pac, or Pac-Man, through various different levels in order to protect the city from Lord Betrayus, who, amusingly enough, is trying to get his body back.
Press jump. Not that I need to tell you how to eat.
So upon starting the game, you'll get an option to take part in a tutorial, whereby you'll learn all of Pac's abilities, as well as some of the actual basic gameplay rules, but you'll also learn some of the new rules introduced in this sequel, such as the main focus on obtaining high scores, so it's well worth giving it a shot.
All of my plans to take over Pac World are always spoiled by that little Pac rat. I blame the two of you! Surely it's more his fault than mine.
Is not. And don't call Lord Betrayus, surely.
Shut up, you two! Ugh. If only I could get my hands on the repository that holds the Pac World bodies of all the ghosts in the Netherworld. If I had my body back, this would all be so easy!
Yes, sir. I'm sure that would make all the difference.
Of course, you have also failed every time you try to steal the repository.
So that cutscene you just saw was basically the game's introduction, whereby Lord Betrayus wants to obtain the repository so that he can get his body back, as all of the ghosts' real bodies are kept inside that repository, whereby if they do manage to get their bodies back, they'll return to the world of living and presumably cause havoc for the people that live in Pac World. So yeah, that's your general story. It falls in line with those storylines featured in the main TV series, which is of course where this game takes its inspiration from. And the game features a lot of inspiration from the TV series, such as all of the different abilities that Pac-Man can wield, such as Ice Pac, Fire Pac, Magnetic Pac-Man, which is what we're seeing here, as well as a brand new ability whereby Pac-Man can turn into Godzilla, or Pac-Zilla as he's known. So one of the new gameplay abilities added in Pac-Man and Ghostly Adventures 2 is the option to transform from a powered up Pac-Man to regular Pac-Man, which is pressed by doing one of the trigger buttons. Another unique feature added to Pac-Man and the Ghostly Adventures 2 is the high score option, whereby eating ghosts and collecting the fruit, which we saw just a moment ago, will give you a better high score, which adds additional replay value to the game, as previously you just complete the level and then that was it, job done. Whereas in this game it's now a task to find the 3 pieces of fruit that are scattered around in each level to obtain a bigger high score, as well as combo together attacks on ghosts to get an even bigger high score. So for example, if we use Pac-Man's magnetic ability, we can gather all the ghosts into one area and chomp them all up in one go for a big high score. Once you do complete the level, you'll be awarded a medal, and medal are separated into 3 different categories: bronze, silver and gold, and depending on how much high score is, depends on what the overall medal you'll receive. For example, bronze is the lowest and gold is the highest. Just like in the first game, there is a hub world whereby you can visit various different locations based within the Pac-Man universe, as well as take part in the Pacopedia, whereby you can learn information about the characters and enemies that Pac-Man will face in the game. So, sure to please a couple of fans of the series. But interestingly enough, you can also view your stats of each particular level, whereby it gives an individual breakdown of the high scores and fruit obtained in each level. And just like in the previous game, you can interact with various characters scattered around the actual hub world. So, for example, in this instance, I'm talking to Pinky. The hub world is also separated into 4 different areas, so now I can visit Circe's lab, the Maze High School, and the President's office, as well as go back to the main screen to go to the world map, whereby you can choose your individual world. So, for example, the Pac-Apocalypse is the first major game world, and here you can move around and choose your individual level. So all the ones marked in green were completed. Another major difference between the first game and the second game is that in Pac-Man and the Ghostly Adventures 2 you can now control some of Pac-Man's friends. So for example, you control Spiral as well as Silly in various on-rail shooter type games. So for instance, in this particular level, I'm controlling Spiral in his helicopter to shoot down the evil ghosts while they're floating around the city. So it's a bit different to your traditional Pac-Man and adds a bit of variety to the game, which in some instances can become a bit repetitive. It's not just Silly or Spiral that be able to control vehicles either, as Pac-Man can also take part in his own mid-level styled racing games, whereby he must chase down the ghosts and shoot them down. But ultimately the biggest difference is the boss fights, which are now separated into several different stages and offer some challenging variety. For instance, in this particular boss fight, Pac-Man needs to suck up the rockets that can fire them back, which will then trigger a cutscene at the halfway point, whereby the player will take control of Silly, who will do the remaining of the boss fight for him. It's this type of variety that makes Pac-Man Ghostly Adventures 2 stand out from the previous title, as it offers quite a varying different aspects of gameplay but remains true to the original game. So that's what you can expect from Pac-Man and the Ghostly Adventures 2, which is now available for the PS3, Xbox 360, Wii U and Nintendo 3DS.
Oh man, that can't be good!
You're right about that. Giant robots are always bad news.
Giant robots? Again?
Betrayus is an evil genius, but originality is not his strong suit.
Yeah, well, original or not, that thing's gonna smash Pacopolis if you don't stop it!
No problemo! I beat that Grindertron thing once, and I'll beat it again!
Be careful, Pac. I think Betrayus might be up to something bigger than just smashing Pacopolis.
He usually is. Don't worry, Pinky. I'll take care of it.